Forspoken's a fantasy open-world RPG game that the internet collectively loves dunking on. From the train wreck that was the marketing campaign,
yeah, okay, that is something I do now,
to the incredibly cringy dialogue, there's a lot to dislike. But after spending 12 hours finishing the main campaign's derivative story as its extremely fellow kids protagonist hurled swear words as often as her spells, I'm here to tell you, there's heaps more to dislike. I'll start with a positive. The best parts of Forspoken are the traversal and combat. The magic parkouring looks and feels great for the most part, and the spells are varied, offering lots of options in battle.
enjoy.
Spells are broken up into 4 elements: earth, fire, water, and light, with each giving a range of combat, traversal, and support abilities. The earth magic hits hard and feels chunky, and its traversal is your bread and butter on the ground magic parkouring. Fire magic is very aggressive and deals a ton of damage at close range, so it makes sense that the fire magic traversal is a grapple hook, which you can also use in combat to close the distance from your enemies. Makes sense! You can switch magic types seamlessly within combat by using the spell wheel, but my favourite combat feature was the spell switching moves. Each spell school has an attack that has Frey do some kind of acrobatic maneuver and then switch to a new magic type instantly. It makes spell switching quick and flashy, and I used it so much. This is all so good. Wouldn't it be a shame to ruin this? Well, they did in the boss battles. Most of them were largely unremarkable, and all you really need to do is spam all the spells as much as you can. One battle involved environmental obstacles, but on the whole, they're just grindy damage sponges that are a chore to finish. Save for the last boss battle, you don't really need to worry about memorizing boss patterns or extra boss battles or phases. Even blocking is made automatic, and parrying seems to be ineffective at best and is completely replaced by other defensive moves such as your health draining vine attack. There's also a Pokemon style weakness system that somehow makes less sense than Pokemon.
Nope, not working.
There's seemingly no logic to which enemies had weaknesses to which elements. Sometimes water-dwelling crocodiles will be weak to fire, but then sometimes not. You're supposed to use the cuff scan to show the enemy's weakness, but this just slowed the combat down for me, so I mostly ignored it. Combat was usually just a trial and error barrage of different spells until I found the right weakness. Which brings me to my biggest issue with Forspoken. It's pacing and writing.
Where on earth is this?
Athia?
Who's there?
And technically not Earth. Well, not what you would call Earth anyway.
I swear to God, asshole, show yourself.
If you type Forspoken into YouTube or Twitter, you'll find countless reviews panning its writing and story, and it's all valid. The writing's garbo.
Do you understand? Consort of demons!
Okay, what I said about the rhyming thing, I don't mind it so much anymore.
I said quiet!
Forspoken feels like it was written by an AI writing app that was exclusively fed scripts by Joss Whedon.
Damn. I thought courts in New York were bad.
The writers must have gone to the tell, don't show school of writing, and boy, do they tell. So much of the story is exposited so clearly to you through the mouth of the protagonist that it feels like there's little to no room to work things out on your own, even though it's extremely obvious. A perfect example is when we get to know Frey as a character. She's a ne'er-do-well vagabond getting into trouble in New York City. She lives alone, has no friends, and isn't above betraying people for her own needs. That's enough to know that Frey doesn't like getting near people. That's enough. But no, what does Frey have to say?
I have trust issues.
There's just so many examples of this jam it down your throat style storytelling that it actively hurts the characters and stories it's trying to tell. Forspoken's dialogue and story are the kind that really sprain your eye muscles and hurt your lungs from the sheer amount of eye rolling and groaning it makes you do.
I know what a selfie is.
Really?
Not really.
I'm not about to be like, exposition should be eliminated from all games, but I think that knowing your audience is extremely important. Forspoken isn't a game directed towards a younger audience. In fact, it's almost annoyingly marketed towards a young adult audience with its cool, I don't give a f*** protagonist and particle effect ridden special effects. The thing is, the game's target audience isn't dumb. They've played games before. They've consumed media before. They're extremely aware of the overused tropes and ideas that have preceded Forspoken and, like anyone, hate being talked down to. Unfortunately, Forspoken decides to choose the path well trodden and march obstinately down cliched see it from a mile away style beats and twists that ends up fizzling when it should have popped. It just feels so outdated. It feels like a bunch of old people browsed Reddit and tried their best to relate to the youth through their electronic game, and unfortunately, it's not enough.
Did you not just see me take out that gnarly beast? Oh! Bring it, you mangled monsters!
Speaking of out-of-date approaches, the pacing of Forspoken made it feel like it was a game that was cryogenically preserved in 2001 and then reanimated for consumption. There are so many long, drawn-out cutscenes that interrupt the flow to the point of stagnancy, and so many lore and menu interruptions that stop any momentum dead.
It's weird.
I wanted to play the game like it was a 100-meter sprint, but it felt like the developers were like, nah, it's not the sprint, it's the hurdle. Here's a cutscene, here's a choice-based dialogue section, here's the main town that will be perfect for parkouring, but we're not gonna let you parkour. Forspoken is fascinating in how mediocre it is. I would call it a waste of time, except for the fact that it really solidified what I enjoy in video games. Playing it made me appreciate a fresh and unique story, likable characters, and gameplay that actually made you think. It's a pity that Forspoken features none of these. If Luminous ever make another game, I'll probably chuck a fray and be like, I have trust issues. Pass. It's Garbo.